An Alzheimer's patient and his dog went missing. What rescuers found in the woods was bone-chilling. Imagine a world where the familiar fades into shadows, where memories slip away like grains of sand. In this fragile existence lives an elderly man, grappling with Alzheimer's, a condition that robs him not only of his past, but also of his sense of security. One fateful day, he steps into the unknown, wandering away from the comfort of his home, his ever-loyal dog at his side. What began as an ordinary afternoon quickly spirals into a frantic search operation, drawing in volunteers, law enforcement, and a community desperate to bring two beloved companions back to safety. Days pass with no sign of the pair, and hope begins to wane. But in the heart of the woods, amidst the towering trees and whispering winds, a chilling discovery awaits. Rescuers, driven by determination and an unyielding sense of duty, delve deeper into the forest's embrace, only to stumble upon a scene that will haunt them forever. There, lying unconscious at the forest's edge, is the lost man, his loyal dog barking desperately beside him, a fierce protector in a world that has become so perilous. But the true horror unfolds when the rescuers uncover a shallow grave nearby, containing the remains of an unidentified person who had vanished years before. As investigators sift through layers of mystery, they realize that the dog's unusual behavior, far from mere instinct, hints at a deeper understanding of the situation. How much can animals perceive? What secrets lie buried in the fragmented memories of the elderly man? Each clue unravels a thread of a story intertwined with tragedy, loyalty, and the unbreakable bond between a man and his dog. Join us as we venture into this gripping tale, where every revelation challenges our understanding of not just what it means to protect, but also the haunting realities of memory, loss, and the unexpected roles that our animal companions play in the darkest of times. Will the truth emerge from the shadows, or will it remain locked away, buried alongside the secrets of the forest? Stay with us as we unravel a mystery that will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about love, loyalty, and the lengths we go to for those we cherish. As the search operation intensified, the community rallied together, united by a common goal: to find the elderly man and his dog. Posters were plastered on every available surface. Desperate pleas for information echoed through social media, and volunteers poured into the woods, determined to comb every inch of the dense underbrush. Among them were neighbors who had known the man for years, reminiscing about his vibrant stories from a time when his memory was intact. They recalled how he would stroll through the neighborhood, sharing tales from his youth, always accompanied by his faithful companion, a golden retriever named Max. Max was not just a pet. He was a member of the family, a constant source of comfort and joy. The bond between man and dog was palpable, a connection that transcended words. As his family members joined in the search, their hearts were heavy with worry. They recalled the moments just before he went missing, the small signs of confusion that had begun to surface more frequently. The morning had started like any other, but something that day felt different. He seemed distant, lost in a world only he could navigate. The search teams utilized drones, helicopters, and even scent-tracking dogs, creating a network of eyes and ears throughout the sprawling wilderness. Each rustle in the bushes, each snap of a twig, sent waves of hope and dread through the volunteers. As night fell, the woods transformed into an eerie landscape, shadows dancing among the trees, and the sounds of nocturnal creatures filled the air. It was a stark reminder of the dangers that lurked within the tranquility of nature. Days stretched on, each moment marked by a growing sense of urgency. The man's family clung to hope, their hearts heavy with fear. They shared stories of his life, painting a vivid picture of a man who had once been vibrant and full of laughter. They spoke of his love for gardening, how he would spend countless hours tending to his roses, nurturing each bloom with care. But now, those memories were slipping away, just like the man himself. Meanwhile, Max continued to search, his instincts guiding him through the underbrush. The loyal dog would not leave the vicinity of where his owner had last been seen. Barking, howling and pacing anxiously. It was as if he sensed a presence, a connection that transcended the chaos around them. Rescuers noted the dog's behavior with keen interest. It was clear that he was not merely wandering aimlessly, but rather exhibiting signs of purpose, as though he knew something that the humans did not. Finally, after days of relentless searching, a breakthrough occurred. A team of searchers, exhausted yet resolute, ventured deeper into the woods when they heard Max's barking grow louder and more frantic. Following the sound, they stumbled upon a clear opening at the edge of the forest. There, lying on the ground, was the elderly man, unconscious but alive. Max was beside him, his body tense, eyes wide with urgency, as if he were trying to awaken his beloved owner. The sight was both a relief and a source of dread. The man was found, but his state raised immediate concerns. Paramedics rushed in, quickly assessing his condition while Max stood guard, his loyal presence a testament to the bond they shared. The man was transported to a nearby hospital, where medical staff worked diligently to stabilize him. As he was placed on a stretcher, his eyes fluttered open momentarily, a flicker of recognition crossing his face, but the confusion quickly returned. Yet, the rescue operation was far from over. As investigators began to piece together the timeline of events, they noticed something unsettling. Not far from where the man was found, a shallow grave was discovered, partially obscured by fallen leaves and branches. As the authorities carefully unearthed the site, the chilling reality of the situation set in. The remains belonged to an unidentified individual who had been missing for years, a mystery that had long haunted the community. The discovery sent shockwaves through the search teams and the families involved. What had they stumbled upon, and how was it connected to the elderly man's disappearance? As investigators began their work, they realized they were not just uncovering the fate of one person, but potentially solving multiple cases entwined in a web of secrets. In the days that followed, forensic teams meticulously examined the grave, seeking any clues that might lead them to understand how the elderly man had ended up in the woods and whether his memories held any key to unraveling the dark history surrounding the site. Interviews were conducted, and the community was once again drawn into the investigation, with many reflecting on the stories of individuals who had vanished over the years, their fates unknown. Each fragment of the elderly man's memories offered new insights. At times, he would mumble incoherently, his words a jumble of names and places. Yet within the chaos lay hints that were pieced together by investigators. It became evident that he had witnessed something, a moment frozen in time that his mind, clouded by Alzheimer's, struggled to articulate. As the investigation deepened, the bond between Max and his owner came into sharper focus. The dog's behavior was not merely instinctual. It was a reflection of their relationship, one that had endured the trials of memory loss and confusion. Rescuers noted how Max would nudge the man gently, as if reminding him of their connection, their shared experiences. It became increasingly clear that Max was not just a companion, but a protector, an unwavering guardian in the face of uncertainty. The unfolding mystery raised profound questions about the nature of loyalty and love. What drove Max to stay by his owner's side, even as the world around them became increasingly perilous? Was it instinct, or was there a deeper understanding of the bonds they shared? The answer seemed to lie beyond human comprehension, tucked away in the silent language of an animal's heart. As search and rescue teams continued their work, the community found solace in the shared experience of hope and grief. The story of the elderly man and Max became a rallying point, a reminder of the fragility of life and the unbreakable bonds that tie us to one another. The woods, once a backdrop for a tale of worry, transformed into a testament of resilience, as families came together to support one another through the uncertainty. With each passing day, the threads of the story continued to weave together, forming a complex tapestry of love, loss, and the unyielding spirit of companionship. As the investigation progressed, the community held its breath, eager for answers while remaining grateful for the return of the elderly man and the unwavering loyalty of his dog. The final revelations would soon emerge, shedding light on the shadows that lingered in the woods, and the truth would begin to take shape, challenging perceptions and redefining the meaning of protection and love in the face of adversity. As the investigation progressed, the community held its breath, eager for answers while remaining grateful for the return of the elderly man and the unwavering loyalty of his dog. The final revelations would soon emerge, shedding light on the shadows that lingered in the woods, and the truth would begin to take shape, challenging perceptions and redefining the meaning of protection and love in the face of adversity. Days turned into weeks, and as the story unfolded, the elderly man, now stabilized in the hospital, began to regain fragments of consciousness. His family surrounded him, their expressions a mix of relief and concern. They sat by his bedside, holding his hand, hoping for a glimmer of recognition. The doctors had warned them about the potential long-term effects of his ordeal, but the family remained steadfast, believing that love and patience could bridge the vast chasm of memory that Alzheimer's had created. Amidst the worry, there were moments of clarity. Occasionally, his eyes would light up at the sight of familiar faces, and he would speak in soft, hesitant tones. His conversations, although fragmented, revealed glimpses into his past, a life filled with laughter, love, and adventure. One evening, he managed to recall a cherished memory of a family picnic by the lake, where he had taught his grandchildren how to fish. His daughter's heart swelled with hope as she listened, clinging to each word like a lifeline thrown into turbulent waters. Meanwhile, investigators worked tirelessly to connect the dots between the elderly man's disappearance and the remains found in the grave. They meticulously scrutinized every detail, piecing together timelines and conducting interviews with individuals who had lived in the area for years. The mystery deepened as they uncovered reports of missing persons that spanned decades, each case echoing with unanswered questions and haunting coincidences. The community, initially united in their search for the elderly man and Max, was now grappling with the unsettling reality that there may be a darker history tied to their beloved woods. As news of the grave spread, whispers of fear began to circulate. Town meetings were held, and residents shared their concerns about safety, their voices trembling with uncertainty. They reminisced about the past, about neighbors who had vanished without a trace, and some even confessed to feeling the weight of their own memories, the shadows that loomed behind their own doors. Yet amidst the fear, there was a rallying spirit. The community banded together, holding vigils and sharing stories, creating a tapestry of resilience. They honored not only the lost, but also the bond between the elderly man and his dog, a symbol of loyalty that transcended the chaos surrounding them. Max became a local hero, his image adorning flyers and social media posts, a reminder of hope in the face of despair. As the investigation continued, forensic teams worked diligently to identify the remains found in the shallow grave. Each day brought new developments, but the answers remained elusive, shrouded in mystery. The connection between the elderly man's fragmented memories and the grave began to take shape, with investigators noting his occasional mention of a hidden place and dark shadows. These cryptic clues sparked intrigue and fear, igniting the imaginations of those who followed the case closely. In the hospital, the elderly man's condition stabilized further, and he began to engage more with his doctors and family. One afternoon, during a gentle conversation, he suddenly blurted out a name, Emily. The word hung in the air, heavy with significance. His family exchanged glances, unsure of its meaning, but instinctively they felt it was important. They pressed him for more details, but his recollection faded like smoke, leaving them with a single name that echoed in their minds. Investigators caught wind of this new clue and quickly delved into the records of missing persons cases, searching for any connection to the name Emily. They discovered a young woman who had gone missing years prior, a vibrant soul whose absence had left a significant void in the community. Friends and family had organized searches, distributed flyers, and held vigils, but no trace had ever been found. The discovery of the grave now took on a new dimension. as a potential link between the elderly man's experience and the unsolved mystery of Emily's disappearance began to form. As the pieces of the puzzle came together, the authorities sought to interview the elderly man more extensively. Each session was a careful dance between his frail state and the urgency of uncovering the truth. His family, ever supportive, remained close by, encouraging him to share whatever memories he could. There were moments of clarity interspersed with confusion, and while he struggled to articulate his thoughts, glimmers of understanding began to surface. Max, never far from his owner's side, played an essential role in these moments. The dog seemed to sense when the elderly man was on the verge of a breakthrough, leaning in closely, as if urging him to dig deeper into the recesses of his mind. The bond they shared became a powerful force, one that transcended the barriers of memory and understanding. It was during one of these sessions that the elderly man suddenly recalled an image, a flash of light, a voice calling out for help, and then darkness. This revelation sent shockwaves through the investigative team. They quickly pivoted their focus, exploring the possibility that the elderly man had witnessed something horrific, perhaps even a crime, that had caused him to flee into the woods. As they continued to piece together the narrative, they could feel the weight of both fear and responsibility pressing down upon them. The stakes were high, and the clock was ticking. With each passing day, the community remained on edge, holding their breath as the investigation unfolded. The woods, once a place of solace and beauty, had transformed into a haunting reminder of the unknown. Families began to keep their children close, to share stories of caution and vigilance. The warmth of community and the bond of shared experiences became a lifeline in uncertain times. As authorities investigated further, they uncovered more evidence from the grave. Forensic analysis revealed clothing fibers and personal items that hinted at a life once lived. Each discovery brought them closer to understanding the identity of the remains, igniting hope that justice might finally be served for the families affected by this tragic saga. The elderly man's health improved steadily, and he was eventually discharged from the hospital. However, the journey to reclaim his memories and perhaps uncover the truth was just beginning. His family remained vigilant, supporting him through therapy sessions designed to help him navigate the complexities of his condition. It was a labor of love, filled with challenges, yet also punctuated by moments of connection that reminded them of the man he once was. As the community rallied around their beloved dog and his owner, they began to understand that the bond between them was a powerful force, one that could navigate the darkest of times. Max's loyalty became a beacon of hope, a reminder that love could thrive even in the face of uncertainty. The town embraced the duo, their story becoming a symbol of resilience and unity amidst the chaos. As the investigation continued to unfold, the final pieces of the puzzle began to align. With each new lead, the community held its breath, waiting for answers, for closure, for justice. The woods, once a place of fear, began to transform back into a space of beauty and life as families ventured back into nature, reclaiming the serenity that had once brought them joy. And so, as the sun set over the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, the story of the elderly man, his dog, and the secrets of the woods continued to evolve. With hope in their hearts and the promise of answers on the horizon, the community stood united, ready to face whatever revelations lay ahead, knowing that together they could overcome even the darkest of shadows. The bond forged by love, loyalty, and resilience would shine brightly, illuminating the path forward as they sought to unravel the mysteries that had haunted their lives for far too long. As the sun set over the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, the story of the elderly man, his dog, and the secrets of the woods continued to evolve. With hope in their hearts and the promise of answers on the horizon, the community stood united, ready to face whatever revelations lay ahead, knowing that together they could overcome even the darkest of shadows. The bond forged by love, loyalty, and resilience would shine brightly, illuminating the path forward as they sought to unravel the mysteries that had haunted their lives for far too long. In the days following the man's discharge from the hospital, he began attending therapy sessions designed to help him reconnect with his memories. His family was by his side, encouraging him to share whatever he could, no matter how fragmented. Each session became a delicate balance between probing for details and respecting the emotional weight of his experiences. The therapists employed gentle techniques, utilizing photographs and familiar sounds to trigger memories, creating a safe space for him to explore the labyrinth of his mind. During one particular session, as they flipped through a scrapbook filled with family photographs, a moment of clarity washed over him. "That's Emily," he whispered, pointing to a picture of a young woman at a family gathering, laughing and surrounded by loved ones. The therapist, noticing the shift in his demeanor, leaned in closer, asking him to tell them more about the girl in the picture. As he began to speak, fragments of a story began to weave together. A birthday party where Emily had been the life of the celebration, her infectious laughter ringing through the air. His family listened intently, their hearts swelling with hope. They had been yearning for these glimpses of the man they knew and loved, the vibrant storyteller who had once captivated them with his tales. Yet, as he continued, the memories began to darken. "She was scared," he murmured, his voice trembling. "There were shadows. We were playing hide and seek, but she ran too far." The words hung heavy in the air, the implications sending chills down their spines. What had happened during that innocent game? Had something sinister transpired in the very woods where he had wandered off? Meanwhile, the investigation into the remains found near the shallow grave gained momentum. Authorities worked tirelessly to connect the dots, examining missing persons reports and interviewing those who had known Emily. The connections between the elderly man's recollections and Emily's disappearance became increasingly compelling, revealing a tragic narrative that had unfolded long before the recent events. The community, once again drawn into the depths of sorrow, began to rally, hoping to uncover the truth that lay buried beneath the layers of time. As the investigation progressed, forensic teams were able to obtain DNA samples from the remains. The anticipation of identifying the victim grew palpable, not only for the families of the missing, but also for the community as a whole. Each day brought updates, and the townspeople clung to the hope that justice would finally come for those lost souls. In the weeks that followed, the elderly man's health continued to improve. With encouragement from his family, he began to engage more actively in therapy. He took walks in the neighborhood with Max, the faithful dog always by his side. Their daily strolls became a routine that not only provided physical exercise, but also offered opportunities for the man to reconnect with familiar sights and sounds, slowly restoring some of the fragments of his past. One afternoon, as they walked down a path lined with blooming wildflowers, the man suddenly stopped, his eyes widening with recognition. "The tree," he exclaimed, pointing to a gnarled oak that had stood sentinel over the landscape for decades. "We used to sit under that tree. Emily loved it." The memory flowed back with clarity, and he shared how they would spend lazy afternoons reading and dreaming of adventures. His family watched in awe as the pieces of his life began to snap back into place, each memory a testament to the love that had once filled his heart. As he recounted his past, the connection between him and Emily deepened. The family learned that Emily had been his granddaughter, a bright and spirited young woman who had vanished one fateful summer day. The revelation sent shockwaves through the family. They had lost a piece of their history along with the man they cherished. They vowed to honor her memory, determined to uncover the truth behind her disappearance and the secrets that lay buried in the woods. The community continued to support the investigation, organizing vigils and spreading awareness about Emily's story. They shared photos, passed out flyers, and encouraged anyone with information to come forward. The bond between the elderly man and Max became a symbol of hope, a reminder that love could endure even in the face of tragedy. As they walked through the town, people began to recognize them, offering words of encouragement and kindness, their shared journey sparking a renewed sense of unity. Meanwhile, investigators combed through historical records, seeking any leads that might connect the dots between the elderly man's memories and the dark history of the woods. They discovered that years ago, there had been reports of strange occurrences in the area, disappearances and whispers of danger that lingered like a specter over the town. Each revelation painted a clearer picture of the shadows that had long haunted the community. As the investigation progressed, authorities received a breakthrough. DNA results confirmed that the remains found in the grave belonged to Emily. The news sent ripples of shock and sorrow through the families who had suffered in silence for so long. The community came together once more, holding a vigil to honor Emily's memory, lighting candles, and sharing stories of her vibrant spirit. The gathering was a testament to the resilience of love and the strength that emerged from tragedy. In the midst of grief, the elderly man found solace. Though the pain of losing Emily weighed heavily on his heart, the memories they had shared began to illuminate the darkness. He spoke of her laughter, her love for adventure, and the dreams they had woven together. Through these moments, he began to reclaim his identity, piecing together a life once lived, a life filled with joy, love, and cherished connections. As the community continued to rally around the family, the investigation shifted towards seeking justice for Emily. Questions arose regarding the circumstances of her disappearance. Had she been taken, or had she simply wandered too far? The authorities sought to uncover the truth, delving into the past with renewed vigor, determined to bring light to the shadows that had lingered for far too long. Meanwhile, Max remained a steadfast companion, his loyalty unwavering. He seemed to sense when his owner needed comfort, curling up beside him during moments of reflection. Together, they forged a bond that transcended words, each understanding the other in ways that only the closest of companions can. The dog's presence became a source of strength, reminding the elderly man that love could conquer even the deepest of sorrows. As the investigation progressed, the community came to understand the profound impact of the bond between humans and animals. Max was not just a pet. He was a guardian, a protector who had guided his owner through the darkest moments. The realization sparked conversations about the roles animals play in our lives, how they offer unconditional love and support in times of crisis. The story of the elderly man and his dog became a rallying point, inspiring discussions about compassion, loyalty, and the need to cherish the connections we have. As the days turned into weeks, the community remained vigilant, awaiting further developments in the investigation. The woods, once a place of fear, began to reclaim its beauty as families ventured back into nature, determined to embrace the serenity that had been overshadowed by tragedy. The bond between the elderly man, Max, and the community grew stronger, forged in the fires of adversity. Eventually, the investigators uncovered new leads, piecing together evidence that pointed towards a potential suspect. The days of uncertainty began to fade as the community rallied around the hope of justice. As they awaited the next chapter in this unfolding narrative, they held firmly to the belief that love, loyalty, and resilience would ultimately prevail. And so, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow over the town, the story of the elderly man, his loyal dog, and the haunting secrets of the woods continued to unfold. With every revelation, they drew closer to understanding the mysteries that had shaped their lives. Together, they stood united, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, knowing that the bonds they had forged would guide them through the darkest of times. In the end, what began as a tale of loss and fear transformed into a story of love and redemption. The elderly man and Max became symbols of hope, illuminating the path for others who had faced similar struggles. Their journey, intertwined with the community's spirit, served as a reminder that even in the face of darkness, the light of love and loyalty would always shine through. As the mysteries of the woods began to unravel, the bonds forged in adversity would continue to guide them toward healing, understanding, and ultimately, justice. As the mysteries of the woods began to unravel, the bonds forged in adversity would continue to guide them toward healing, understanding, and ultimately, justice. The elderly man and Max became symbols of hope, illuminating the path for others who had faced similar struggles. Their journey intertwined with the community's spirit, serving as a reminder that even in the face of darkness, the light of love and loyalty would always shine through. The investigation took a significant turn when authorities identified a person of interest connected to Emily's disappearance. The suspect was a man whose name had surfaced in past investigations, linked to troubling behavior and allegations of violence. As law enforcement delved deeper, they uncovered a troubling pattern that suggested he had been involved in multiple incidents that went unreported or were dismissed due to lack of evidence. The community's unease transformed into a collective determination to seek justice, fueling a renewed sense of purpose. In the days that followed, the elderly man's family became more involved in the investigation, collaborating with authorities to provide any information that might lead to a resolution. They remembered conversations Emily had shared with them, her dreams of traveling and her fears of the unknown. Those memories became crucial as they painted a picture of a young woman full of life, whose future had been abruptly cut short. Each recollection added depth to the narrative, transforming Emily from a mere name in a missing persons report to a beloved daughter and sister whose absence left an indelible mark on their hearts. As the community rallied together, they organized events to raise awareness about the importance of safety and vigilance. Workshops were held, where residents shared personal stories of loss and resilience, fostering a sense of camaraderie among those who had experienced similar heartaches. These gatherings served not only as a platform for healing, but also as a means to empower others to take action in the face of danger. The community embraced the motto, "Together, we are stronger," and it resonated deeply with everyone involved. Meanwhile, the elderly man continued his therapy sessions, slowly regaining more clarity about his past. Each visit unveiled new layers of memory, and he found strength in sharing stories about Emily, their shared laughter echoing in the room. They reminisced about family vacations, birthday celebrations, and the simple joys of life that had once filled their days. These moments breathed life into his fragmented memories, allowing him to connect with the essence of who he was beyond Alzheimer's. One evening, as the sun set in a vibrant display of colors, the elderly man and Max sat together on the porch, watching the world go by. The gentle breeze rustled the leaves, creating a comforting symphony of nature. It was during this peaceful moment that the man suddenly recalled a pivotal event, the last time he saw Emily before she went missing. "We were at the lake," he murmured, his voice barely above a whisper. "She wanted to swim out to the island, but I told her it was too far." The memory triggered a rush of emotions, and he felt a wave of sadness wash over him, realizing that he hadn't been able to protect her. Max, ever attuned to his owner's feelings, leaned against him, offering silent support. The dog seemed to sense the weight of the memory, his presence a reminder of the bond that had endured through the chaos. The elderly man closed his eyes, allowing the memories to flow, recalling the laughter they shared, the way Emily's face lit up with joy as she splashed in the water. "She was so brave," he said softly, "and I should have let her go." Those words resonated deeply within him, revealing the complexity of love and the burden of guilt that often accompanies loss. The elderly man realized that while he could not change the past, he could honor Emily's memory by sharing their story. It became a mission for him, a way to keep her spirit alive, to ensure that her laughter echoed not only in his heart, but also in the hearts of the community. As the investigation progressed, law enforcement worked diligently to gather evidence against the person of interest. They conducted surveillance, interviewed witnesses, and pieced together a timeline that painted a clearer picture of the events surrounding Emily's disappearance. With each passing day, tension mounted as the community awaited justice. The haunting shadows of the past began to lift, revealing a path toward closure that many had longed for. As the suspect was formally charged, the community came together yet again, holding a rally to honor Emily and all those affected by violence and loss. The gathering was filled with emotion. Candles flickered in the twilight, and heartfelt speeches echoed through the crowd. People shared their stories, their pain, and their hopes for a future where no one would have to endure the heartache of losing a loved one under such tragic circumstances. The elderly man, standing alongside Max, felt an overwhelming sense of unity and purpose. He found solace in the knowledge that Emily's story was no longer just a memory buried in the past. It had transformed into a rallying cry for change. In the months that followed, the trial captivated the community. As the details of the case unfolded, the elderly man and his family attended each session, their hearts heavy yet resolute. They listened as witnesses recounted the events leading up to Emily's disappearance, feeling the weight of every word. Yet amidst the sorrow, there were moments of strength. Each testimony served as a reminder of Emily's impact on those around her vibrant spirit illuminating the darkness. The trial became a focal point for the community, a time for reflection and healing. People gathered outside the courthouse, holding signs that read "Justice for Emily" and "We will not forget." The support from friends, family, and even strangers created an atmosphere of solidarity that echoed through the hearts of everyone involved. The elderly man felt an overwhelming sense of pride as he watched the community come together, his heart swelling with hope for a brighter future. As the trial reached its conclusion, the jury deliberated, weighing the evidence against the accused. The tension in the courtroom was palpable, the air thick with anticipation. Finally, the verdict was announced guilty. The community erupted in a mix of relief and sorrow, knowing that while justice had been served, it could never truly replace what had been lost. The elderly man felt a surge of emotion wash over him. He had fought for Emily's memory, and now he could finally begin to heal. In the aftermath of the trial, the elderly man and Max became even more involved in community initiatives, advocating for awareness and prevention of violence against women. They spoke at schools, sharing their story and encouraging young people to stand up against injustice. Their message resonated deeply, inspiring a generation to be vigilant and compassionate, to look out for one another, and to never take love for granted. As seasons changed and time moved forward, the memory of Emily remained etched in the hearts of those who loved her. The woods, once a place shrouded in darkness, became a sanctuary of remembrance. The community planted trees in her honor, creating a beautiful grove where families could gather to celebrate life and love. Each tree stood as a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, reminding everyone that even in the face of tragedy, hope could blossom anew. The elderly man often visited the grove with Max, finding comfort in the tranquility of the trees. As he sat beneath their branches, he would share stories of Emily, recounting her laughter and dreams. Each word was a tribute, a way to keep her memory alive, a reminder that love transcends even the darkest of circumstances. In the end, the journey of the elderly man and Max became a legacy of love, loyalty, and resilience. Their story intertwined with the fabric of the community, forever changing lives and inspiring others to stand against injustice. While the shadows of the past would always linger, the light of hope and healing continued to shine brightly, illuminating the path for those who walked in their footsteps. And so, as the sun set over the horizon, bathing the world in golden hues, the elderly man and Max remained steadfast companions, united in their love and memories. Together, they faced the future with courage, knowing that while the scars of the past would never fully fade, they possessed the strength to forge ahead, guided by the enduring spirit of a beloved granddaughter who had touched their lives in ways they would cherish forever. Their story intertwined with the fabric of the community, forever changing lives and inspiring others to stand against injustice. While the shadows of the past would always linger, the light of hope and healing continued to shine brightly, illuminating the path for those who walked in their footsteps. As the seasons passed, the elderly man embraced his role as a storyteller. In the warmth of his home, surrounded by family and friends, he would share tales of Emily, each story a thread woven into the tapestry of their collective memory. His voice, though often shaky, resonated with strength, carrying the essence of a love that could not be extinguished. Those who listened found comfort in his words, a reminder that while loss is a part of life, the bonds we create can never truly be severed. Max, ever faithful, remained his constant companion, a living testament to loyalty. The dog had become a beloved figure in the community, symbolizing not just the bond between humans and animals, but also the power of love to transcend grief. Children would run up to him, eager to pet the golden retriever, while adults would share stories of their own pets, creating connections that further enriched the community's fabric. The grove dedicated to Emily flourished, becoming a sanctuary for reflection and remembrance. Families would gather there, sharing picnics and laughter, their voices mingling with the rustle of leaves overhead. In the center of the grove stood a beautifully crafted bench, inscribed with Emily's name and a quote that encapsulated her spirit: "Live boldly, love deeply." It became a gathering place, a spot where community members could come together to honor not only Emily, but all those who had been lost to violence. The elderly man often found solace on that bench, sitting in quiet contemplation. With Max by his side, he would reflect on the journey they had taken, the trials, the heartbreak, and ultimately the triumph of justice. It was a place of healing, where he could feel Emily's presence, as if she were right there beside him, encouraging him to continue sharing her story. In the months leading up to the anniversary of Emily's passing, the community organized a memorial event, inviting everyone to come together in celebration of her life. The elderly man, filled with a sense of purpose, agreed to speak at the event. He wanted to honor his granddaughter in a way that would resonate with others, reminding them of the importance of love, vigilance, and community. As the day approached, he felt a mix of emotions: excitement, anticipation, and a twinge of anxiety. He practiced his speech with Max at his feet, the dog offering silent support as always. The bond between them was palpable, a reminder that they were not alone in their journey. On the day of the memorial, the grove was adorned with flowers, ribbons, and photographs of Emily. The air was filled with a sense of reverence as community members gathered, their faces reflecting a shared commitment to honor her memory. As the elderly man approached the podium, he felt the weight of their collective gaze upon him. Taking a deep breath, he began to speak. "Thank you all for being here today," he said, his voice steady yet filled with emotion. "We gather not just to mourn the loss of Emily, but to celebrate the love she brought into our lives. She was a light, a beacon of joy, and her spirit lives on in each of us." As he spoke, he recounted stories of Emily's laughter, her kindness, and her dreams. He shared how he had touched the lives of everyone around her, reminding them of the beauty of living authentically. The crowd listened intently, some wiping away tears as they connected with the memories he shared. "I stand here today, not only as her grandfather, but as a testament to the power of love," he continued, his voice growing stronger. "Emily's absence has left a void that can never be filled, but through our shared memories, we can keep her spirit alive. We must be vigilant. We must look out for one another, and we must never forget the importance of connection." Max, sensing the emotional weight of the moment, nudged the elderly man's leg, grounding him in the present. A smile broke through the sadness as he looked down at his loyal companion. "And let's not forget the power of our furry friends," he added, laughter breaking the tension. "They remind us of loyalty and the love that exists in simple moments." As the event continued, the community shared their own stories of loss and resilience, creating an atmosphere of healing and unity. Candles were lit in Emily's memory, and as twilight descended, the grove was transformed into a sea of flickering lights, a symbol of hope in the face of darkness. In the days following the memorial, the elderly man felt a renewed sense of purpose. He began attending workshops on advocacy and community safety, eager to share what they had learned through their journey. He and Max became active participants in local initiatives, working alongside others to foster awareness about violence prevention and support for those affected by loss. The community embraced their efforts, and together they launched programs aimed at empowering individuals to speak out against violence and create safe spaces for open dialogue. The elderly man shared their story at schools and community centers, inspiring others to take action and reminding them of the importance of compassion and understanding. As they traveled from place to place, Max remained a constant presence, embodying the spirit of loyalty and love. The bond between the elderly man and his dog became a powerful symbol of resilience, encouraging others to find strength in their connections. Years passed, but the memory of Emily never faded. The grove continued to flourish, a living tribute to the love that had transformed tragedy into hope. The elderly man, now a beloved figure in the community, often found himself reflecting on the journey they had taken, the darkness they had faced and the light they had found together. On quiet evenings, he would sit on the bench in the grove, Max resting by his side, and share stories with those who stopped by. Each conversation was a reminder of the importance of community, of coming together to support one another in times of need. The love that had blossomed from tragedy became a guiding force, illuminating the path for others who had faced similar struggles. As the sun set, casting a warm glow over the grove, the elderly man felt a profound sense of peace. He knew that while the pain of loss would always be a part of him, the love he shared with Emily and the bond he had forged with Max would continue to shape his life and the lives of those around him. In the heart of the woods, where shadows once loomed, a legacy of love, loyalty, and resilience had emerged, reminding everyone that even in the darkest of times, hope could blossom anew. Together, they would continue to honor Emily, keeping her spirit alive in their hearts and shining a light on the path toward a brighter future.